Okay, so 60 says 1 over 81 and then k to the negative 4. So this is that situation in which I don't have the same base on either side of the equal sign. So 1 or k to the negative 4 would be the same thing as 1 over k to the 4th. And then we cross multiply. K to the 4th would equal 81. And then I 4th root. So 4th root, if I don't know 8 right, 81 is 9 and 9. And then 9 is 3 and 3 and 3 and 3. So there are exactly 4 3's, which means k is 3. So if there's no way to get, like if there's not two numbers on either side and the exponent has the variable, then I have to change it that way.
So you don't have to have like the same base for those?
No, you can't.
I'm trying to figure that out. I think that doesn't work.
Yeah, no. When the variable's not in the exponent, we're usually doing something like that. Yeah.
I think it's the same thing.
62 was like the last one that we did yesterday. So if it's raised to the 5/2, then to get rid of it, we raise it to the 2/5. So then this would be the 2/5, and I'd get z equals the 5th root of 32 squared. So 32 is 2 and 16, 2 and 8, 2 and 4, 2 and 2. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means it's 2 squared, which is 4. Yeah. Which I totally would have caught had I checked it, right? Because it would have been 4 to the 5/2 means square root of 4 raised to the 5th, and the square root of 4 is 2, and 2 to the 5th is 32. So remember, you can check those two.
You squared it. Why?
Because, why did I square the 2, you mean?
Yeah.
So I raised it to the 2/5. The 5 becomes the index, but the 2 is still the exponent. So the 5th root of 32 is 2, and then I square it. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Is your web assignment posted? It's not letting me on that page. I just published the, but I think I had it published, but it's giving me an error. Oh, there it goes. Okay. View. Yep. All right. It should be there. All right. So I'll work this out if you want to get a head start on your web assignment. It's posted. So you'll see when it gives you a little chart, it's like n is 1, n is 2, n is 4, n is 12, n is 30. That means you have to do that all those times. Okay? There's only 2 like that. That's it. That's the only homework. Make sure what I would say for homework when you give me your work is write out the formula, then type it into your equation. So at least I know what you're typing in. Okay, this is 5 to the 3r equals 5. This would be to the first, so 3r equals 1. R equals 1/3. 46. This becomes 3 squared and 2 squared. The base is not the same, so this becomes 3 over 2 squared. And to flip it, I would get 3 over 2 to the negative x equals 3 over 2. And then negative x equals 2, so x equals negative 2. (48). 5 to the 2p plus 1 would equal 5 to the second. And then 2p plus 1 equals 2. 2p equals 1. P equals 1/2. (50). E to the 3 minus x would equal, multiply these, e to the negative 3x. So 3 minus x equals negative 3x. Divide by negative 2. X is negative 3/2. Move this to the top by making this negative. So 2 to the negative 1 raised to the 3x minus 6 gives me 2 to the negative goes to both. Negative 3x plus 6. This is 2 to the 3rd. 2 to the 3rd raised to the x plus 1. And that's 2 to the 3x plus 3. Negative 3x plus 6 would equal 3x plus 3. Add the 3x. Subtract the 3. Divide by 6. closer. Mm-hmm.
For one of the weather signs, like one of the questions for weather sign, I tried to put it in like as a mixed number instead of an improper question, and it marked it wrong.
Yeah, don't do that. I mean, I give you back the credit on Canvas, but it's going to want improper. Yeah.
Like I figured out that it was because it was a mixed number, and I thought it was just because I just did it wrong.
It's picky.
But like, why can't I put it as a mixed number?
I mean, WebSign's just a computer, and it's looking for something specific. It'll mark it wrong. If it was like a open-ended question on Canvas, I'd probably give you the answer. And on your homework, I give you back the credit, even though it marks it wrong. Yeah. It just usually looks for that. That's all.
Is our homework just WebAssign? Do we also have PDF?
Nope, that's it. Just WebAssign. It's only two questions, and it's got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts each. So it's like 12 little parts, but it's the same thing. Yeah. All right, folks, that is your bell. This is the last one. 9t equals 4, t equals 4/9. So those are the solutions for the PDF. Okay, I will post them right on the assignment, but there they are if you want to get a quick screenshot before you head out. And then remember, you're checking your WebAssign answers on WebAssign, okay? Tomorrow we'll move on to 5-2. Have a fantastic day, guys. So this is one of the things that we use in exponential function in real world scenarios is interest problems. Okay, so we talked about yesterday the E, right? We said E is 2.718281828, and so on and so forth. And this is actually, I know it sounds ridiculous, but this is where it comes from. So in calc, you'll learn about limits. But it means that the higher the number increases, the closer we approach to this number, that is that E. So it's not a number that is, it doesn't end and it doesn't repeat. We say that it is the end of exponential functions. You don't ever have to find it, but obviously I'm not going to teach you limits, but that is how it's found, okay? What we will use in this section is two formulas, one that doesn't have an E and one that does. So we start with the one that doesn't have an E, and this is to find interest that is accrued a certain amount of times a year. So if you have a bank account, if you have a credit card, if you have, I don't even know, like I doubt you guys have mortgages, but your parents' mortgage, something like that, okay, there is two ways to accrue money on that. So like if you put $100 in a savings account, you get interest, right? And it can be accrued daily, weekly, monthly, biannually, annually, right? The more times it accrues, the more money you're earning off of it. So if I put $10 in an account and I say at the end of every month, you earn 10%. So if I start with $10, or let's say I start with $100, let's make a nice round number. I start with $100 and I'm making 10% on that. What happens in month 2? How much money do I have? What's 10% of 100? 10. So I take my 100 and I add 10 to it, right? So now it's 110. Now I make 10% of the 110, which is what? 11. Take 110, add 11 to it. 121. Now I make 10% of the 121, so I make $12.10, right? So that's if it like accrues monthly. So you see you're making money off of the new balance. Does that make sense? You're not making money off of my initial one, okay? So the way we do that, I don't expect you to do that every time, especially daily, weekly, all that stuff, is you use this formula. So the P stands for the money you initially put into it. So whatever money you started with. If I start with $100, then P is 100. T is the time in years. So if I'm trying to figure out how much money I'm going to have at the end of 5 years, then T is 5. 10 years, T is 10. R is the rate of interest, okay? And it has to be in decimal form. So it's usually given to you in percent. So if I say 10% is my rate, how do I convert that to decimal? 0.1, I move my decimal 2 places to the left, right? So I have to, when I use R in my formula, I have to take it from percent and move my decimal back 2 places. N is the number of times per year the interest is compounded. So if it's annually, it's once a year. If it's semi-annually, it's twice a year. If it's monthly, it's 12 times a year. If it's weekly, how many weeks are in a year? 52. If it's daily, 365. So those things you've got to know, okay? If it's quarterly, it's going to happen 4 times a year. And then A is the result. So A is the money you have at the end of n amount of years, okay? So this formula definitely needs to go on a reference sheet. You definitely want to know this formula, which is P times 1 plus R over N to the NT. Honestly, we plug it in, we let our calculator do the work. That's it. So example 30 says invest 12.
Can you please resend your attendance?
Sure. Okay, invest $12,000 at an annual rate of 3%. Find the balance after 5 years compounded quarterly. So I'm going to rewrite that formula on the top here. A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the NT. So A is my result. P is, why is it just you guys? It's super weird. All right, so what is P? How much money do we invest in the beginning? $12,000. Okay, what is R? 3%, which is 0.03. Good. N, number of times a year. So if it happens quarterly, how many times a year? 4. And T, how long? 5 years. So A equals 12,000 times 1 plus 0.03 over 4 raised to the 4 times 5. Now when you type this in your calculator, and this is why it's important to practice on whichever calculator you plan to use because they are different. If I type this in my calculator in my regular graphing utility, I would do 12,000, open my parentheses, 1 plus, open parentheses, because I have to group together the 0.03, divided by 4, close my parentheses again, and then raise it to, I can do 4 times 5, or I can actually just multiply out 4 times 5, because that's 20, and type it in that way. So the calculator looks like that. So notice that I have parentheses in front of the 1 and then plus, and then I group together that 0.03 divided by 4, okay? Then close the parentheses and then raise it to the 4 to 5. So the raising is the little caret that'll bring out your exponent, okay? If you're using a scientific calculator, then you have to do this in the complete reverse order. You have to start with this one. I have to take 0.03 and divide it by 4. That's 0.0075. Then I have to add it to 1. So I get 1.0075. Then I have to y to the x or x to the y to raise it to the 20. And I get 1.16118, so on and so forth. And then I have to multiply that by 1,200. And I get that $13,934.21. So this is money, which means it will always get rounded to the second decimal place.
On my calculator, it came out different.
How do you raise something to a power on a scientific calculator?
You have a y to the x or an x to the y button. It's a y to the x, right?
How do you do it on
This one.
Oh, I see.
So hit that, and then do 20 equals that
Okay.
times
How do I
1,200.
do it on my calculator?
So you just type it in 1,200 or 12,000, right? Open parentheses. 1 plus open parentheses again, sorry, 0.03 divided by 4, close parentheses again, then the caret, that guy. No, above, 1, there. And then if you want to type 20, you have to type 20. If you want to do 4 times 5, you have to open the parentheses and do 4 times 5. Now hit enter. There you go.
Okay, thank you.
Ethan, did you figure out why?
No, I put that exact same formula. Instead of getting 1,000, like 13,000 something, I got 61,000.
So which calculator do you have?
TI 83 plus.
Okay, so when you do your exponent, group your 4 and 5. So when you type in, so you're going to do this, right? Then 1 plus 0.03 divided by 4, close my parentheses, and then you hit the little caret. Open parentheses, 4 times 5, close the parentheses. Or do 20. What I think is happening is that it's taking your whole thing, raising it to the 4th power, and then taking that result and multiplying it times 5. I think that's what happened to yours.
Wait, I don't
So I just did that and I got 12,000.
Not possible. You did 12,000 times, you open the parentheses, right? Because the TI-83 is just the one, does anybody in here have TI-83? No, okay. Open the parentheses, 1 plus, open parentheses again, 0.03 divided by 4, close your parentheses, close them again, do the little caret, open the parentheses, 4 times 5, close the parentheses.
Oh, okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Who else was saying that they had a hard time at home?
I need help with that because I don't have like an X to the Y.
Okay, what's yours is like my pink one, right, Madeline?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just have an X squared.
Yeah, okay. Here. You have a caret though. Wait, let me stop share.
Oh, I found it.
You got it?
But then you just.
Here, wait, I'll do it. I'll literally do it on the video. I just have to share a different way. Oh, duh.
So would I have to do like mine backwards or could I just?
So you're gonna do this. So you have to do 12,000. Open the parentheses. 1 plus. Open the parentheses. 0.03. Divided by 4. Close the parentheses. Close them again. Then do that little caret. And then open parentheses 4 times 5. If you don't want to do the parentheses 4 times 5, then you just have to do 20. You can't do 4 and not have it grouped together with the 5.
Oh.
Yep, then hit enter, you should get the same answer.
For the one on the iPad, do you just plug it in the same way?
Don't do it.
Nope.
Like the one on the iPad, you have to work, wait, hang on. What? I did not fuck you. Unlock. Oh Lord, sorry, when I start grouping things together, this gets disastrous. Hang on.
Because if I can find like I have one like the pink one.
Yeah.
And I have one like the sign.
First of all, you can't use I won't let you use your iPad.
No, I know.
So
I
it's
the other calculator today because
yeah.
I managed to misplace both of my other calculators. So this is just.
So on the graphing, the 0.03 divided by 4, right? Then I have to add to it 1. Then I have to use that little one, raise it to the 20. Then I have to multiply it times the 12,000.
So you do it like backwards.
You do it exactly backwards.
Okay.
Okay? So that's if your calculator, so even yours, like Juliana's like that. The ones that don't, when I hit a button, if I did like 2 times 3, if it shows the numbers 2 times 3, then you do it the first ones. If it doesn't store what you type, then you have to do it this way. But I would try if I have a scientific calculator or a graphing calculator, I would definitely recommend that over the iPad one or the.
Like this one, do I just plug it in the same way as you plugged it in?
Yes,
Okay.
because that one will store what you write.
And would I do it in calculator or equations?
Calculator. All right, so 31. Now it's $12,000. 1 plus, my annual rate is still 3%, so 0.03. It's compounded monthly this time, so what is my n? 12. Raised to the n, which is 12, times t, which is 5. N goes in twice, yep, it's the only one. So 12,000, parentheses, 1 plus 0.03 divided by 12, close the parentheses, close them again, raise it to, this is 60 or 12 times 5, 13,939.40 cents. So then more often it accrues, the more money you're going to make. If I compare these two, I'm going to make more money, just slightly more, but I'm going to make more money if it's compounded 12 times a year than it is 4 times a year. If my years are longer, obviously the more times it's in there, the longer and the higher the rate, obviously those are, so if you're going to compare answers, something that's compounded monthly is going to happen more than quarterly, it's going to make up more money. Not too much more, but more.
Is there like a certain place that we should like always?
It's always money, so you always do to the 2 decimal places. Yeah. The you're going to be with your calculator, the easier this is going to be. If the calculator is what's going to make you mess up, that stinks, right? So don't, just make sure you're practicing homework tonight. Make sure you're using the same calculator that you're going to use. So the first time you're going to see these things would be next week on a quiz, and then again on your test. So just make sure that you're practicing with that calculator. All right, so then the last type of interest, yeah.
What day next week is the quiz?
Friday, is compounded continuously. So continuously means it is non-stop compounding within seconds. So it can't even be, I can't even tell you that it's going to happen so many times a year because and divide it by like seconds. So I wouldn't do, it's even more often than seconds, okay? And the way that you figure that out is, you see that E, this is where it comes in. I just call it PERT. But it's the principal times E raised to the RT. So this time there's no N because it's continuous, which means it can't be done a number of times a year. It's just continuous, okay? So it's still the same initial value, still T for time and years, still rate has to be in decimal. The only difference is this is E to the RT. So this, in comparison to the other ones, will always be the most amount of money earned. So this one says invest $12,000 at an annual rate of 3%. Find the balance after 5 years, compounded. And again, the important part here is continuously. So this is my PERT. A equals P times E to the RT. So this is $12,000 times E raised to the R would be 0.03. And T is 5. Now again, you have to be careful how you type this in because we only want the E to be raised to the 0.03 times 5. So if you have a graphing or one of these, you could type it directly in like that, 12,000, open the parentheses, or not, I don't even need parentheses, 12,000. The E is above the LN button, and for this kind of calculator, it gives you the parentheses, so I could do 0.03 times 5. And this is $13,942.01. For a scientific calculator that does not store the words, so like Juliana's, like the one on the iPad, those are the ones I'm talking about, you have to do 0.30 times 5. That's 0.15. Then I have to do E to the 0.15, and then I take that and multiply it times 12,000. So again, we work kind of backwards.
And for answers, it'll tell us what place to.
It will not. It is money. You have to know to round to 2 decimal places,
Okay.
right? There's no such thing as 0.05 cents.